See if we can get.
That's a big fish. I need you. I really need you. Come here. You are big. You are big, big, big. Just wish you guys could see this fight. That's a big, big fish. Big fish. Big, 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 big.
Whew. Been a long time since we played that. I think it's been 6 months or so since I gave my 10-week update in a live stream, and we really haven't been live like this a whole lot since. So here's hoping everything's working. We will find out. Let me know. Let me know. We got sight, sound, viewing, audio, and all the good stuff. Welcome back, everybody. Or as I have to say for Cairo, we are live, live, live. Fishing with Gramps live. That's right, we're back. And I owe, outside of Grand and my family, I owe it to you guys. I'm not going to lie. I was getting ready to hang the channel up for a long time, knowing what this year's going to be like. You know, not being able to do what I wanted to do, but you know what? All of my Freedom Squad, fishing fam, especially in the chat, y'all kept me in it. Y'all kept me in it. It's almost hard to say. But tonight, the first guest back had to be one of the ones, had to be the one who was most influential recently to bring me back. And that's none other than our good friend, Master Sergeant Ralph, Mr. Army Outdoors, who for the last, 6-8 weeks, chit chat with me at work. We're both, he's still active duty. I still work for the Army. We have our internal, chat networks where we chit chat like every day. And we've been talking about the Bassmaster Classic for weeks and weeks. And I was like, dude, I don't know. Don't know if I can go. Don't know if I'm physically ready. Didn't know if I was mentally ready. I haven't left the state since last year. Shit, since last June when I went to the Kayak Adventure Series, fished with Wendell Fishing. My last fishing trip last year was in late June with my 2 granddaughters. And that'll be the next video that you guys see now that we're back. But yeah, me and Ralph chit chat a couple times a week, off and on. And yeah, he was like, bro, Bassmaster Classic, Knoxville. So I'd been back in the gym, been talking to my wife. She was happy that I was, making progress, able to move. And she's like, I'll give you one day. Drive down on a Friday, do the expo, hang out with your peeps, come back early Sunday so that you can recover and be ready for work on Monday. And that's what we did. That's what we did. And I had my man escorting me around, making sure I was good. He assigned last time we were in Knoxville, he was part of the security detail.
This time it was the non-medical attendant.
This time he was my non-medical attendant. He kept me going, kept me working, kept me motivated. And honestly, funny enough, I was like, okay, she said I could go if I can find a place to stay. Then I'll try to make the trip. And as it happens, we were talking with Debo on his live stream, and my buddy Kevin that I met, Kevin from Canada, that I met in Knoxville last time, which was an awesome story. He ran down G-Man as he was trying to get out and go over to the weigh-in, and he stopped G-Man just long enough to get a picture. And then I was like, hey, bro, you got time for one more? And he was like, sure. So, we sit there and chit-chat for a second. Kevin took a picture of us together, and then he took off. And, yeah, oddly enough, Kevin was coming back down from Canada, was going to stay the week after the event, kind of like I did last year at Caddo, or not at Caddo, but at Lake Fork. and I went down to the Classic, and then went to Lake Fork and fished for a few days after that on my way home. Kevin was coming down from Canada, did the same thing. Go to the expo, and then spend a few days kayak fishing down there. So Kevin, thank you so much for offering up the second room, your Airbnb. Great time hanging out. Oddly enough, both baseball fans. We were watching Team USA and Team Canada play. It was fun. It was fun time. But thanks to Ralph, I was able to get out to the Classic and see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long, long time. But Ralph, let's do a kind of a quick recap, because once again I got to hang another. A lot of folks get to show up and get their media badges because they got YouTube channels, but Ralph and I, we have that special membership because we're BASS Life members, so we get the cool little pass and the little goodie bags. Get access to the Life member lounge where you get all the slick little pins and everything. But Ralph, what did you think about the Classic this year? That was pretty damn cool. Oh, hopefully I didn't lose him.
Why I keep.
I think Ralph's lagging on us a little bit. Hopefully he's got a good Wi-Fi connection where he's at.
Are you there? Oh, look.
Yep, we got you. Hopefully I'm not lagging.
Hold on.
Ralph's going to check his connection real quick, but we got a nice little goodie bag and some cool stickers.
It's freaking.
Moose, can you go do that in the room, homie? Dogs are over here just going to town. Y'all let me know, am I lagging or is Ralph lagging? Hopefully it's something he can fix.
Hold on, let me.
Oh, you're good, bro.
I think
But
we
they also
let me log
announced,
out. Let me come
next
right back
year.
in. Let me come right back in. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. Yep. Okay, Trevor says Ralph. All right. He's going to go try to drop his connection and come back in. He just got back in from working out. He's been out fishing all weekend and then back. But yeah, they announced that the next year's Bassmaster Classic going to be in Greenville, South Carolina. I believe that's Hartwell. So we'll see how it goes. But while we're waiting for Ralph to pop back in, there he is. Let's get him back in here. Ka-chow. See if we can get Ralph with a good enough connection to chit chat with us tonight. Got to see if Ralph's got that Walmart Wi-Fi. See bucktail fishing in the house, yak fish, Trevor, Sly Fox, Michael Bradley. We got Jermaine, Tom Brewster. We got all the fishing fam popping in tonight. You scroll up and see who else I saw rolling in there. Southwest Indiana Outdoors, of course, Miss Cairo Ferg. Get Real Bass Fishing. I saw Corey in the house. Amanda riding now. Look at Amanda on there. Yes, ma'am. But we are back. We are back. We're getting into the we're getting back into the flow of getting caught up. But yeah, I'll wait for Ralph to pop back in. I'll just go back up. But yeah, I had to rebuild the studio. I've been doing card streaming stuff, so all that's over on that side. So if I turn my desk and fire up the lights, then I can do cardiac arrest cards. But that'll be hanging out for a while till the winter time. We're back with Fishing with Gramps for a while, but we did get to see our boy Brandon Brown Baitco. And I realized this. I meant to go back and get some more of his baits. I left the Classic and I didn't buy a single damn thing the whole time I was there. I was like, I got to go through and figure out what I got. And then before I start making a determination of anything I need. But I do have to stop and pause for a moment while we're waiting on Ralph. He's checking his connection. Fishing with Gramps. Once again, presented by the same, well, I can't say the same company, but we're presented by the Rod Locker, formerly known as American Legacy Fishing. you don't know the story, American Legacy Fishing, the owner, I guess, was the wife of the guy who founded it, and let it go down, and kind of a couple of my favorite people that worked there ended up buying them out of bankruptcy and are bringing it back to life. And they are now known as the Rod Locker. So they are our presenting sponsor once again. Of course, we're still sponsored by Monster Bass, partnered with, you know me, I don't say sponsor. We're partnered with Monster Bass once again, of course. And of course, Fish Texas Kayak Trailers, which, yes, there'll be some stories about trailer, this and that. Miss Emily, everybody knows Emily, Senla Outdoors, came up. She sold her previous trailer, which was a single, and had her camper / extra kayak thing on top. She sold that trailer, and she now has the first edition of the T-Max Fishing with Gramps edition. So I met her this weekend. She came up from down south, and we did the handover, and she took the big dog back home with her, and I've already got an order in for another trailer in 2027, which will be a new design, but I can't talk a whole lot about that. But I can't be on the water in a kayak this year, but of course we'll be back in 2027 thanks to the generosity once again of a friend of the show. But we'll talk about all that later on, because yeah, we'll work on kayak stuff. But this year I'm joining the boat gang with Ralph, who, all right, are you back, homie? We'll see if he's got enough connection.
Yeah. You hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now I got you twice.
Right. There we go. I switched to my.
Okay, let me add that one to the stage.
There you go. I don't know. I used my tablet before. I don't know what's going on. There we go.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you sound a whole lot better now.
Okay, there we go. All right, yeah.
Which actually works well because we're streaming to both formats. We're streaming to the shorts, which is the vertical, and then we're streaming to the regular YouTube, which is the horizontal. So I actually see you both ways too. So it actually works out pretty well.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Yep. Like Sly Fox says, Gramps will be in the down low green machine. So I like that. I can't say slow because I think John B or one of them used that terminology, but I like the down low. I kind of dig that. And of course, you know, everybody thinks that my original was like 60 miles. But yeah, you know, I've got the black and green machine, and of course, it, you know, matches all my colors and everything. But Ralph, tell me a little bit, man. Tell me what you thought of the Classic this year. That we know is like our just, I mean, it's the Super Bowl of bass fishing. It's the biggest expo there is. You can do like I did and not even realize that there is a bass fishing tournament going on. Not only the Kayak Classic Championship, but a boat fishing tournament. Yeah. But the expo itself is a whole ordeal. I didn't get anywhere near the water, did I? We was at the expo the whole time. No. Ralph, I mean, you kind of bounce around, which you always do, man. Tell us about this year's Classic and what you thought about it, how it went.
I thought it was awesome. So this is as you know, this is my third one.
Yep.
So the first one I went to was in 2022 at Hartwell. Shout out to Alex Rudd for letting me keep my boat at his house during that one.
Oh yeah.
Then I went to the last Knoxville one in 23. Took a 2-year break. I was because it was in California. And then as soon as I knew I was coming to Washington, D.C. and they announced where the Classic was, I was like, I'm going. I think I had my plans to go before Thanksgiving. I think we started talking about it.
Yep.
But it is an ideal location for it. It is in the perfect area. Everything's consolidated and condensed. You know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but for the benefit, it's you have the big expo center, and you have the exhibition hall that's right across the street, connected to 2 hotels, and then Volunteer Landing is walking distance away for the takeoff. The Friday parking is a little crazy because it's still a work day for some people.
Yep.
And then Saturday and Sunday, most of the parking garages are free. The university goes on spring break that week. So that alleviates a lot of traffic, and it's all about the Classic. The whole town is there for it. Everyone's out for it. I saw police officers in there buying tackle, walking around with rods. Uh, all of us anglers, YouTubers. I mean, it was a reunion every time we turn around a corner.
Yep.
I got to run into everyone down there. Met some new people. I was at Bass After Dark for over a couple of years now, and I heard Ken Duke's voice and Epic Eric, and was like, "Oh, that's them. I know you."
Yep.
So I mean, it was
met
great.
Ken Duke at Red Crest a couple years ago, and he is such a down to earth guy. He's awesome to talk to.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, he's literally the historian of our sport. I mean, he's just the
Yeah.
dude is something else. But yeah, I mean,
And you talk about historians. I think I told you this. With Friday, I was at Brendan Brown Bait Club, Brendan Brown's booth, and a guy walked up to us and was looking at Brendan's baits, just talking about them, talking about how they look nice. And somehow we got on the topic of worms. And he was wearing a hat. Didn't notice at first. It had Man's Jelly Worms on it. He was like, "Oh yeah, some Man's Jelly Worms will do you some good." And we're like, "Oh yeah, you know." I was like, "I still have some original ones that I actually threw this weekend in my boat that I bought like when I first started fishing." And he comes around and goes, "Yeah, well, I used to own them 37 years." And we're like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was the owner for 37 years. I sold it back in 1980 something or something." He said, and I turned and looked. I was like, "You know, Brendan here wasn't even born when you did that." Oh, yeah, there was so much history there. Roland Martin was still there. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Steve Harvey was running around there. They had a lot of good talking events at the Bass Tank. They had all the ladies of fishing from Bassmaster. They did a couple of round tables on Friday and Saturday. Steve Harvey, Roland Martin, Edward Evers, Kevin Van Dam, Hank Parker, and Rick Cludd, I think, were up on the stage. That was amazing to get all those people together and just hear them talk about fishing. Like that was probably the most packed I've seen around that booth there. I mean, in 3 days, you still don't visit everything you want to because there's just so much.
It's crazy.
And then I somehow found part-time employment there. So another veteran buddy of mine, David, who I met at the last time I went down to Knoxville, he's a Desert Storm veteran. And then I had my Iraq veteran hat on. We made eye contact, and you know that bond with the military.
Oh yeah,
linked up, and that year he got me at the front of takeoff and in the front of the stage. And so when I come back this year, he was still there, and he got me up at the front of the takeoff again with him. And then he's the guy you maybe catch on camera that's like guiding the ground guide in the trucks in. And he's the guy that stops the truck so the anglers can get the fish out of the live well and hop up on the stage and then guide the truck around. So that's his little task down there, and I got to be his assistant. But I mean, you're that close to the stage, like you can't miss it. And a super cool part with him is he actually coached Dylan and Carter Nutt since 7th grade. So he remembers them from being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then he cried watching them win, and it was an amazing thing to watch. So it was super
and
cool.
I don't think a lot of people realize, because that was the last thing we did before we parted ways, was you introduced me to him. And I don't know that a lot of people know this, but the one brother won the college classic, and then his brother wins the Bassmaster Classic. Was it like the next day or 2 days later? It was
No, the college was before that. So his brother had already won the college classic because they fished on was it Douglas Lake? I'd have to look it up and see. I'm not sure. They fished another lake, and then his brother came up to watch him fish.
But it's wild that one brother, I mean, because I think they're twins.
Yeah, twin brothers.
And one decides to go to college, one decides to work and fish, and they both win the highest levels of what they were doing because Dylan qualified through the Bass Nation. So for those of you that don't know, think of Hellabass. He and like Matty Wong and those guys, they fish like the Bass Nation series. So that's kind of your guys that still work, the guys that fish your state Bass Nation levels. And then like last year, Indiana, Jeremy Knapp, who a lot of us local here know because he's a freaking stick. He made the Classic last year, and that was really cool. And then this year, Tennessee, Dylan Nutt,
Yeah.
and the next thing you know, just absolutely smashes them. I wanted to step back for a minute to talk about Brendan, because you and I got to witness something. And when I hadn't even got a chance to talk to Brendan yet, and guy walks up and is looking at his work and had already checked him out. And the gentleman's name's Rob Cochran. And Rob Cochran is a long time crankbait maker. I mean, like 30, 40 years. They connected, and there is going to be some mentoring going on. They had like a 5 or 10 minute discussion.
Oh yeah.
Before we walked off, of some tips and tricks, and they were exchanging phone numbers. But the dude, I always say talent recognizes talent, and it does. This guy realized that this young man who literally had a pro working in his booth with him, but he recognized talent. And we always say, stone sharpens stone. But the dude was like, he's literally going to pass his knowledge, his gifts on to Brendan. And, it's going to be something else.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I was just sitting there going, here's a young man that works hard, great work ethic, has a talent, has a skill, believes in what he does. And then it's literally like, I can't even say Luke and Yoda, because Luke didn't know shit. But whoever trained Yoda, that's what level we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So the fact that Brandon's going to get some mentoring from Rob Cochran is going to be absolutely fantastic. But it was really cool. It seemed like we couldn't walk anywhere. We'd take 5-10 steps and we'd see somebody, and it was like it was like a family reunion everywhere we went. We walk into a room and there's Debo, there's the AAA guys, Jeff and Paul. Who all was in there? Somebody, I think Debo actually took a picture and posted it, and there's like a whole, and Hank, everybody. There was like, I think we were all around the Praco booth. It was like a YouTuber's family reunion of like everybody. It was really kind of cool. But,
all YouTubers and the one non-YouTuber famous guy.
Yeah. The most, the most famous of all the Facebook Army Outdoors, gonna have a YouTube channel someday. Because he probably knows more people than all the rest of us do. But he's got the ends with the Mercers, the Zonas, and all that. It was really kind of cool. But I mean, everywhere we went, it's like we saw another one of our family members, and we'd sit there and chit chat and talk and bounce around. We ran into Michael and Amanda, saw Jermaine and Corey. I walked by and here comes Charlie Sanders coming the other direction. I'm like, oh, smack, I didn't know you were going to be here. He's like, oh, but it was absolutely fantastic. And the Classic itself, I mean, the tournament, from what I got to watch of it, because it was funny because I had to pace myself, obviously. So I was watching, the Classic on the tablet, on the drive down, and I even watched the rest of it on the drive home, because, I knew I only had the one day. And I think I maximized my steps that day, Ralph. I think I had about 12,000 steps. Nice. And my feet were on pins and needles. But after I left you, I made my way back to the main concourse and did a little more running around, and then caught up with Jermaine and Corey and Michael and Amanda, and walked back, and then they dropped me back off at my truck, and then we ended up going to dinner from there. But just being with you guys, and I've told people that I'm close to, what I thought this year for me was going to be like, that I would kind of shut down, take the year off, not hide from everybody, but that's kind of what I've been doing. you know, posting some videos and clips here and there on Facebook and Instagram of me at the gym and this and that. But I tell you what, Ralph, that weekend, I don't know how this year's going to go. I mean, you guys know I have a boat. I bought it back, you know, during Rona. Never, I think I've been in it maybe 10 times. I think Ralph and I probably been in our boats the same amount of time while he's been gone, you know, and couldn't fish. But you know, you guys saw me sell all my baits on Whatnot, you know, over 3 or 4 streams, and I want to thank everybody first and foremost for supporting that effort, because especially everybody who bought all of the Freedom Squad baits, we literally raised enough money for Jeremy to get a new laptop, which he desperately needs. He's still doing all the stuff and things with the VA and hasn't heard back on his case yet. But his old computer that, you know, is it was really croaking. So I literally ordered his laptop Friday, and hopefully it'll be here sometime later this week so I can start getting him set up. He's now in a spot where he's got fiber. He's got faster internet than I do, but he just doesn't have a system good enough to do what he needs to do. So we're going to get his laptop in. I'm going to get him a good webcam up. Gramps Live we'll start probably doing some Freedom Squad Fridays. So I'm going to talk too much about this because Jeremy and Matt have both had things going on that's really kept them tied up in other things. But hopefully it won't be too long, maybe a month or so, where we can start doing Freedom Squad Fridays again to go along with Gramps Lives on Mondays. But I knew I had to have Ralph on first, because honestly, along with everybody in the Freedom Squad chat, that's really kind of kept me going since last year. I mean, it's been since June 15th that I caught a bass. So technically Ralph beat me because he caught one this weekend. Let's talk a little bit about that, dude. You know, you got home and then turned around and had 2 fishing derbs like right out the gate.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your weekend and finally getting the skunk out the boat.
Yeah. So I'll back up. So like I said before, I was in Southern California, in the desert. You know, people, California, Clear Lake, Shasta. No, I was down south in the desert.
Yeah.
So for those that are in the military, I was a first sergeant down there for 2 years at Fort Irwin at the National Training Center. So not a lot of lakes around. Nearest lake is probably about 120 miles away. Gas is what it was out there. So probably took the boat out, I think, 6 times total in 2 years. So when I got here, I wanted to jump right into it. So I'm stationed at the Pentagon, and I live on Fort Belvoir in Northern Virginia. So when I got out here, I immediately started looking and trying to join fishing clubs and tournaments, whatever I could figure out what to do. So started making posts in some of the local Facebook groups. Then I ended up making friends with Thomas Aarons from Fishing the DMV.
Oh yeah,
one of the biggest podcasts in this area over here. So between following his stuff and posting in the groups, I ended up linking up with 2 different people. Jim Hill, who's a retired colonel, works over here at Fort Belvoir. He has a club, Potomac Bassmasters. He reached out to me on Facebook. Was like, hey, you want to come fish with us? It's, you know, all military, government employees, police officers, firefighters, whatever. And he sent me the schedule, and he kept in contact with me through the winter. Because I got here in September, October, and I wasn't really fishing. It was like the tail end of fall. Winter came on really bad when they hit. So fished a few times, didn't catch anything, figuring it out, which I'll get to Lake Anna and all of that. So Jim invited me to come fish with them. And then Thomas had Jarvis Rayner on, who's a retired Marine, who's here in the area. He has a club called Major League Bass Anglers. So after I saw him on Thomas's thing, I reached out to him, introduced myself. They openly armed, took me in, and I was like, perfect. You know, 2 local clubs, low membership fees, relatively low entry fees compared to others. So I was like, before I start giving my money to these pros and hammers in the local area, let me start with some local guys, figure it out. So all military, first responder, government employees. So there's that bond that exists there, that's always there. So fished a little bit in the fall, didn't really figure anything out. Christmas holidays came, the winter came, put the boat up in storage here.
Yeah.
And then we started our tournaments here a couple of weeks ago. So right after the classic, we had, or no, right before the classic, we had well, personally back, I did a Veterans Day tournament in November. That was really cool. It was 100 boats, angler and co-angler, so almost 200 people. I think everyone had a partner, and about 90% were military or first responders. Super cold though. Lake Anna it's the most pressured lake in the state of Virginia.
Holy smokes.
It's massive. It's a power plant lake, and there's a part of it that's private, which is what they call the hot side, because that's where the plant dumps the water in.
Oh yeah, there you go. Find that discharge and find you some fish.
But you can't get to it because most of that warmest water is on the other side of the dike that is private, and there's no public ramps over there, anything, unless you live over there. You got to have a permit and all this wonderful stuff. So the cold side of the lake gets very cold. When we went out the first tournament this year in March, I think the water temp was about 47 degrees. So it was tough to figure out, and the lake changes from day to day. Hammers will go out and get a 30-pound bag, like Matt Stryko from SB Fishing. They'll go out and get a 30-pound bag in the winter, and then the next day you could go out and zero. Because the fish move so much, they change. What looks good may not be. It's just one of the guys at the tackle shop told me that's why they call it a lake. That's why it has it's named after a woman. It's like, that's hilarious. But it's definitely a moody lake. You got to figure it out, and you got to have patience.
Yeah.
So I did 3 tournaments with the Potomac Bassmaster guys, or 2 with them. And then this past weekend, I had my 3rd with them, and I had my 1st with Major League Bass Anglers. Saturday and Sunday, back-to-back tournaments at the same lake. So Saturday was 60-something degrees, 70-something degrees, I think. Little wind, sun, clear as day, but still didn't get anything. I think I had a couple bites, a couple jump off. But then Sunday, went out with Major League Bass Anglers. We did it was kind of like our maintenance initial inaugural tournament just for fun. We went out from 7:30 to noon. And I went out with Marty Lawson, who's been in a lot of the chats and stuff.
Yeah, Marty the Party from the Monster Bass crew. Yep.
Yep.
Bass Nation.
Yeah, so I actually I've known him obviously through the chats and everything over a while, and he's out here. So we met up this winter at a couple of the fishing expos. I helped him at his booth and one down in Richmond. So we made plans to go out. So the Major League Bass Angler group is a one where you fish with a co-angler. Some are solo, some are not.
Okay.
But this particular club, we fish with a partner. So he's now my partner for the year.
Very cool.
And so we went out Sunday for that tournament. He came down. Went on a lake. Every time I go to this lake, it's a big lake. If you look at it, pull up a map, or whatever, it's a huge lake, a lot of coves, a lot of spinoffs. And some of the coves are like great. Locals will swear by. They only go to this one, only go to that one. And I've just been sort of like breaking it apart, like taking a step back, listening, all the guys who've been doing this a lot longer than me, because, I didn't do this growing up. I started later in life once I joined the Army. But just taking tips from, Tackle Junkie and you and, Gene Jensen and all those guys, Fluke Master, just like picking apart. So I just pick a cove, as big as it is, you could work a whole cove the whole day. And so that's what we did. I did on Saturday, didn't get anything. Sunday I picked a different cove because we launched at a different ramp. Me and Marty made a pact. I like to power fish. He can do more slow fishing. He was like, all right, you power fish, I'll slow fish, and we'll see what they want. And I think we caught, we didn't catch anything at first. And then I caught my first one at about 10:40, I think it was, if I look at the timestamp on my photo. And it was on a 6-cent swank, so the equivalent of the hybrid hunter.
Yep.
And just, we're working our way back out of the cove, and there was a little pocket off to the right. I don't have live scope, but I just like went over it a little bit with my down scan, saw some stuff. I was like, all right, it's got to be good. I mean, there's rock in here, there's trees, the sun's been hitting it ever since it came up over the trees. It's 56, 57 degrees. I was like, something's got to be in there. I think the fish are like sitting off waiting to come in. And it hit the crankbait and pulled it in, got it, and I pulled it out. I mean, it was only a 1-pound fish, so nothing crazy, but
you're leaving 5 pound.
Yeah. First one in the boat in Virginia. First one in 2026. First one in Virginia. So I'm happy. Uh, but that was all we got that day. Marty didn't get anything. He kept throwing slow. And it's one of those lakes. Like the guy who won, he was out there. He was in another cove up the road. He was actually in the cove that I was in on Saturday. But he's got a lot better electronics than me. A little bit of scoping, but I don't think he was doing too much. But it's just it worked that day, and that cove is supposed to be pretty good. So I just stayed in the one we were at. We only went till 12, and then afterwards we went to lunch, and then we had another fun, interesting experience when that happened.
Oh,
So if anyone has Life 360 on your phone, know that it works. Marty can attest to it. He helped me put the cover on the boat because we were going to eat afterwards, so I didn't want to leave it uncovered in a Walmart parking lot.
right.
And when I turned on the road, his phone slid off the top of my boat cover, hit the roadway, and bounced into the ditch. He had an iPhone. It triggered the crash sensor that then sent a notification to his wife.
Oh
And then we
no.
spent 30 minutes looking for his phone. So he called his wife from my phone. She was panicking because she thought he had got into an accident. And then she was looking at it, trying to guide us to it where it was. And it was in between two houses. We're trying to figure out what house and the tree line. And in that time frame, the sheriff's department was texting him, asking him if he's okay. And of course, he wasn't responding because he didn't have his phone.
Right.
And so it triggered a full-blown police EMS response. So the guys that had left before us from the club was wondering what was going on because there was fire trucks, ambulances, and sheriff's deputies and troopers flying towards the lake. So finally, we found it. A guy came out of his house. He helped us. We walked the road, and Marty found it. Picked it up, saw the text messages, responded, and right about that time is when they all started like rolling up, like turning off their lights and just making sure everyone was okay. So it's two sheriff's deputies, the volunteer fire department, an ambulance. His wife was crying. I felt so bad. I was like, well, at least we know that works. But
my wife said, "You better not come home."
I was just wow. I was like, at least you knew her number by heart. Because you think how many people don't know phone numbers by heart? I think I probably know 2 or 3 off the top of my head.
That is insane. You talk about a.
But yeah, it was a fun time. I feel like the lake's going to turn on. Everyone's saying it. It's gonna pick up here. When the water temps hit 60, that's when they say it kind of turns on. So
yeah.
But we're gonna have another little cold snap here. It's actually a little colder now. I'm sitting in front of the windows. 84 yesterday, and I think it's 50 something now. And
Dude,
we're gonna get back
87 or 84 degrees yesterday, and we woke up to like 38 this morning.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit 31.
Yep.
Thursday or Friday night.
Crap is nuts.
And then we have our next tournament with the Major League Bass Angler group on Sunday, and it'll be like 64, and then it's supposed to be up from there. But yeah, the lake's it's a good lake. I mean, once you figure it out, I mean, like I said, SB Fishing, Matt Streichel, he's pulled some near 30 pound. I think he broke 30 pounds one time out of here. Some other guys, Steve Camp, Rob Greik, Timmy Sheridan, like a lot of the local hammers around here, just 30 pound, high 20 pound bags. So it's just a pressured lake fishing. It's a pressured lake for recreation because it's the biggest lake. So there's plenty of pontoons, wake boats out there, party coves, and then it's getting a little bit more pressure this year simply because of the spill on the Potomac with the sewage.
Oh yeah, you got all that to deal with too.
Yeah, so they've lifted all the advisories, and then there's a whole battle about whether that's going to, not going down a rabbit hole of it, but a lot of that got in there and it's settled. So what's going to happen when it warms up? So it remains to be seen. There's a good group of people out here that Thomas follows up with, Potomac River Keepers. They're kind of like the NRA of fishing for the areas. How it was equated to me.
Yeah.
And they seem like to be keeping a good eye on it and doing water testing with a local university and looking at long-term effects and things like that. So seen some boats out there recently. I saw a jet ski driving home today. So it's people are getting out there. So I think the initial tournaments jumped to mostly to Lake Anna. And then we're going to see what the rest of them do. And then both the schedules for both the tournaments I'm on, we have other lakes in the area too. So one of them, we're going to go as far as North Carolina, the Lake Gaston. We have Smith Mountain Lake. It's out here in Eastern Virginia. That's a little closer to Baskey, Hank.
Oh, yeah.
You got South Holston, which borders Tennessee and Virginia. So you can get in there. Bugs Island is on the Virginia, North Carolina border. It's another power plant lake, but it's huge. It's been fishing well. So it's got a lot of good lakes and stuff around here. So I'm excited to see what 2026 holds. But yeah, got the stuff
I'm
off the
telling you,
boat, got
dude,
the first
after the
fish.
drought that you've had to endure, I mean, as much as I whine and moan about my situation, you being stuck out in California was way worse. Well,
That's
fishing
crazy. I
wise,
mean, I told
it's
you
worse.
before, it was just the lakes are, there's more recreation than it is
Yeah,
fishing. You got to, and then there's all the rules. If you put your boat in one lake, you got to wait,
yeah,
this many days for another one, or you got to have a seal on it. And one lake will recognize this seal, but the other lake won't recognize their seal. And then if one lake, actually, I was telling someone this weekend, one lake has a 35-day quarantine
yeah,
because that's how they have determined how long mussels can live outside of water. So
yeah.
you have to get your boat inspected, put a seal on it, and wait 35 days before you can put your boat in there.
Now, talking to the guys around where you're at now, what do you feel like you're going to have some pretty good fishing once you kind of figure things out and
Oh yeah,
you kind of get into warmer weather and things like that too?
yeah. I definitely I need to slow down. That's my downfall is I want to power fish, so I wanted
Yeah,
to force a moving bait bite, which I did this weekend. I got one.
yep, yep.
So I had I think I had one Texas rig worm tied on, and everything else was some sort of moving bait: jig, chatterbait, spinnerbait, crankbaits. I had on two of Brendan's baits that I bought from him.
Yeah.
We have a
Yeah,
really good company
you're
around here that.
way too early to be throwing all that.
Well, no, so I
This
had his crankbaits. I had two flat-sided crankbaits,
yeah.
one big
Well,
one and one little one.
still
Um,
this early in the year with these water temps, when you're talking at 50 to 60, get you a big blade chatterbait, get you a Colorado blade spinner bait because I know you want something moving,
yeah,
and those are about as fast as you want to be going, but just reel it consistent enough where you feel the thump of either one of them. Find that dirtier water
yep.
where the sun's hitting it. But you like to power fish, I get that, but it's not power fishing season yet. You gotta wait till they really start chasing. I'm gonna tell you, since you like reeling and not going slow, get you a strike ring rage bug or a bandito bug, very light tungsten, and swim it slowly. You can throw that up on the rocks, you can throw it up on
Yeah.
the banks because they're gonna push up there where that water's warmer. But I'm telling you, dude, since you don't want to sit there and let it dangle, you want to keep moving, just swim a rage bug, dude. You would be, doesn't matter, black and blue, green pumpkin,
Yeah.
either or. Just these bass are going to start chasing because they want to start feeding up before spawn hits,
Yeah.
and it's going to be on you before you know it. But I
And some of the
mean,
guys were throwing jerk baits on docks.
yep,
I heard
because
Ned rigs.
that's a super slow
Yeah.
twitch.
I
Let it
heard
wait 10 minutes.
yeah, I heard
Twitch, 20
I
more
heard
minutes. I get it, but
I heard jerk baits were
I know
good.
you like to move. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
get you a bug. You're a Googan dude. Get your bandito bug. Show some love. They'll they'll
Yeah.
they'll smash that thing because you can speed it up or slow it down. Those little flappers will just tear them up.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, then so guys are catching them with jerk baits, Ned rigs, and then that one guy was actually dragging a Carolina rig.
Yep.
Because I could see
Yep.
some
I
of
can
them on the
see it.
bottom. So they were like right off they were like set up to come into said coves or pockets.
Yep.
Granted, I only got, regular 2D with the Garmin up front and Lowrance on the bow or on the console. But I was seeing stuff. So I was like, they're there. It's just like, they're just waiting. This is like, because they got
Yep.
really warm. And I think the highest water temp I read was like 57 and some change.
See, and
But
at
then
that point, you've got a few things going on. That's right when the crawls. A lot of people think that's when the crawl come out of their hibernation. They don't really hibernate. That's when they start to get that little bit of orange to them, and that's like their, as we like to say, Twitter patent. They're in that mating season, so that orange is what triggers that mating, and the bass key in on that because they want the protein. They're trying to load up too.
yeah,
So that's why you've seen a lot of people throwing those red chatterbaits or the burnt orange type,
yeah.
crankbaits. And
That's a lot of what I had on was a lot of red,
yeah,
and
but
black and blue because of the dirty water. Because it rained right before that, so that actually that night before,
that'll cool the water down too. Then yeah,
because Lake Anna gets
yeah.
fed
This
by.
time of year, man, you just gotta be slow.
Yeah.
If you think you're fishing slow, slow down. But for you, the good news is it's going to heat up pretty quick. You
Yeah.
I think you're almost directly east of me too. So
Yeah.
the funny thing is, we're going to start running into a lot of the same patterns, pretty equally. Because you think of Washington D.C., you're like, oh, that's like down south. Not really. It's straight
Yeah.
across.
Yeah. That's one of the battles they had with the regions for some of the online tournaments. I think
Yeah.
Tyler shifted his border. Chad obviously shifted his.
Yep.
For the what was considered north and south, because it's weird because we do have those lakes that bleed over. So you got South Holston that bleeds Virginia and Tennessee, and then you have Bugs, and to some extent Roanoke Rapids. I think that crosses the border at some point. I know Bugs does.
Yeah.
And then how they're all interconnected and how they all feed each other. And Thomas did a great breakdown. Someone's got a long drive. He did a top Virginia lakes. With some of the local hammers and a biologist, and they go down the rabbit holes of like the interconnectivity of these lakes and how each one affects the other and the types of bass. And it's really cool. I like a 30-minute drive to work in the morning, so they're perfect to listen to and kind of.
Oh, hey, yeah. I mean, dude, I get you. I've got the same thing. Of course, I'm still studying for my test because I still have to take that next month. But it is one of the things. I did have another experience of you, and something that reminded me that I need to do this, because you handed out a coin again this weekend. But when I met Emily, and I'm just gonna go full screen here.
Okay.
But when I met Emily this weekend, she
Nice.
brought me up one of her Nacogdoches Police Department
Awesome.
coins and presented this to me when we went out to lunch. And of course, I got to throw some props to Mission Barbecue, because Mission Barbecue is like a couple of minutes away from Legacy. So that's where we went and had lunch before she had to head south. But I had never been to Mission Barbecue before, and I got to give props to these guys, and I will eat there every time I'm down there. For those who've never been, you walk in and it's like a veteran first responder family reunion. They've got military swag and coins and patches and rank, and it's got to be veteran owned, because they've got stuff from like every war memorabilia, but it's a complete, and out front they have 3 spots that are veteran parking only. So I need to look more into Mission Barbecue, but I'll tell you what, I've always talked about places I want to be sponsored by. That'd be one of them.
So they're great. And if you notice one thing about them, I got a buddy who he knew one of the owners in Tennessee, and another buddy, actually, his wife, and the guy who managed that store, his wife were pregnant at the same time. They have no commercials. Like, they just let their food and the experience you have there do the talking. You'll never see a commercial. You never see a sponsored ad. They just let it carry. And then almost all of them have a little old deuce and a half truck as a mobile grill.
Yep.
They go out and sponsor events. And then if you're there at noon, they stop everything and play the national anthem every day at noon.
Oh, that's incredible. I had a buddy of mine who I worked with he was in my unit on the Army side for a while. He's a Navy veteran. And then oddly enough, a few years ago, he went back to work on the Navy side of the base I'm on, but he saw me post that, and he sent me a tag that he posted. I think it was back after 9/11, but he posted, and it says 236 weeks ago, and he said, I was in line behind these officers while picking up my order. When I got it, this is what was happening. And he said, here's some context. But basically what they were doing is there was some college kids there, and they went to get dinner on 9/11. And what the picture actually shows is, I'm going to make this big again, is a bunch of police officers. And then I think the manager of the store, they were all praying that day as 9/11 was going on. So, I mean, again, absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I want to do some more, but like I said, it don't matter if I'm down there, I will go there to eat, because that was absolutely fantastic. And the food was phenomenal.
So we had our club meeting.
Yeah, I'm still on my healthy eating, so I got pulled chicken, but it was absolutely fantastic. And I was too slow to respond to Sly Fox, because he said get the greens, because he said they have a spicy kick to them.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, my staple is always when I first go someplace is to get whatever the barbecue is, and then like their baked beans and then their mac and cheese. Because to me, that's kind of what I judge by. But yeah, like Sly Fox is saying, like he's saying in the chat, get the greens.
Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've had their place. Yeah, I've been there probably a dozen times or so now.
Brew Tank. Oh yeah. Brew Tank said he just tuned in. Did you say you were fishing Anna last weekend in Virginia?
Yes. So I fished I fished Lake Anna now. I fished it this past weekend, and then I fished it the weekend then I was at the Classic. Then I fished it 7 March, and then I fished it 28 February.
Okay, so yeah, that's a brand new body of water for you to learn.
Yeah. And then like I said, I hit it a couple of times when I first got here in the fall, but like the fall bite was just, I didn't know. I stayed like right there in Sturgeon Creek Marinas, like one of the many major marinas there, but one of the ones that's closer. Because the lake, like I said, the lake is massive. Look at it on a map; it's huge. So I went to a couple of different ramps, just experimenting and trying, and I made good friends with the tackle shop owner there. And shout out to Matt Strykel and Hunter. They took care of me and gave me tips on where to go, where to launch from. Hunter's down the road in Williamsburg at Fishing Pro Tech, and then Matt SP Fishing is right up here around the Richmond area. I've known him for years now. We fished together years and years ago.
That's cool.
I came up here for a school, and so kept in contact with him. So he kind of like gave me some tips and stuff where to go, and I was like, "Yep." Got to give credit where credit's due, and I've always reached out to him. And it's funny, when I got here, was it in October? I think as probably the last time I went out there last year. There was he was fishing a tournament there, or they were fishing a tournament out of Smallwood. I think the MLF was there, and he was following around a guy that was fishing it, and his van. Anybody who follows his channel know he's got this big Sprinter van with his YouTube stuff on it, and the ramp was like slimed over with algae, and that van is front wheel drive, and so he couldn't pull his boat up out of the water. So I had to drop my trailer, hook a strap to his van, and pull it up out of the water.
I remember seeing those pictures on Facebook of you pulling them up. I was like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah, it was just spinning. It gets a lot of slime and stuff in the lake there, so that park got pretty. It's one of our more packed parks, and that's a whole nother thing that just happened now, because now you have to have a reservation now to launch your boat at that park.
Holy smokes!
And there's a $2 service fee to process your reservation online, in addition to your $20 to launch or your $10 to park. So there's about to be an uprising about that here soon too. So.
Oh yeah, always something. All right, dude. Well, I am going to let you get off to your rest of your evening, and I'm going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes because, as I understand it, Mr. Debo and Mr. Wendell Fishing are going to share some juice from their trip to the Berkeley labs. But, brother, I can't thank you enough for staying on me and with me and getting me down there. I really, really needed that, and it's really kind of got me pumped up for the season to come.
No, I'm excited for you, man. I told you all the time, we talk on work chat. It's like, yeah, you got to keep going. You got a boat, do what you can, stay on the water. It's fun. It's the release. It's the friendships, the networking. And who knows, maybe unless you get one of those Voya kayaks, you might just stick with the boat.
Hey, you never know. I mean, but I say that knowing I've already got a trailer on order, so I'll continue to plan to get back into a kayak. But I got to let my doctors and my health dictate, where we're at, and my wife, because she's constant supervision.
I told Marty this weekend, just have the boat and then tow the kayak. And then whenever you
kayak in the boat,
and then just drop anchor when you want to get in the kayak and go further in, and then just leave the boat there.
I told her, I said, as the grandbabes keep getting bigger, I could always trade the boat in and get a pontoon, and then throw the kayak on the pontoon, and then just haul them all to the lake. That way,
then you become the antithesis of fishermen, because you're in the pontoon making wakes going down.
She says, "Why does my fun always involve her working?" You're the better cook.
Oh my God.
All right, brother, I'm going to let you go. Again, thank you so much. I'm going to give these guys a couple update what my plans are for the year, and then we'll talk about who's going to join us next week, and then we can all pop over and watch Debo and Wendell talk about their stuff and things.
Yep, we'll pull theirs up now. Okay.
All right, my dude.
Appreciate you having me on. It's pretty cool. You know, I'm not famous, but thank you.
Yeah, you're the most famous non-famous person I know. All right, brother. All right, gang. Gotta love having Mr. Of course, Master Sergeant Ralph Army Outdoors here on YouTube. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what my plan is to what I hope to be able to do this season. And then I'll let you guys get out here and go watch the other two knuckleheads. So, as you know, all of my baits are gone except for what I've got in for monster bass. And oddly enough, the tote that they dumped, and I didn't realize my sons did it when they're kind of packing everything out of the way when I was in the hospital. I had a tote full of, I guess, all my day boxes that was in the kayak for my last fishing trip. So that's all I have in the house, you know, here. I've still got all my rods and reels, haven't pared those down. All my kayaks are gone, electronics, motors, everything out the door gone. And of course, Emily picked up my trailer. What does that leave me with? My low. You might have seen a few videos on me in it here and there with my boys, a time or two. But yeah, not real sophisticated. I've got a low with a 40 Merc on the back, 2 Helix 5s, one up front, one in the back. No live scope. We might put the scope on it. I am going to upgrade the graphs because I did get spoiled having that Garmin. So, you know, I've sold a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to get another graph because what I had planned on doing was I had a whole separate live scope and graph setup for the boat and for the kayaks so that I could just take the 2 head units off my kayak and put them on the boat. Never got around to getting anything wired up because that's when everything happened. I bought a Garmin Force trolling motor that's 2 generations back because you've had the Garmin Kraken and then the new Garmin Force Pro. Well, last June, I bought a Garmin Force when Bass Pro Shops put them on sale. But none of that obviously got installed. So yeah, the boat's been sitting on the hill, and it's not been on the water in 2 years. So I've got to get it out, get it serviced, get the batteries charged. I'm probably going to take it out just to make sure everything runs. And then I will take the boat down to the rod locker where I'll have Hans down there rig up some electronics once I can get a new graph. And I don't know if I'm going to scope or not. I probably scope for crappie fishing. But yeah, we'll just do content in the boat this year. Hopefully. I mean, like I said, I haven't been in the boat. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to try starting out gently by bluegill and crappie fishing, and then I'll maybe go out with some sissy sticks and see if I can do that. I'm still limited in stretching, reaching, and all that too. I have to protect this hernia so that it doesn't go down any further until I can get this. Do I still have the crappie baits? Dude, I don't know. I might. I don't know. I don't think. I sold everything that I had in those whatnot streams trying to make some money back from what I'd spent on the trolling motor and whatnot. I don't know, Sly. I might. But if not, then I'll have to ask you about what I need to get. Oddly enough, I think I got a box of crappie from like one of the Berkeley giveaways I had. But I'm just gonna go out with a slip bobber and a minnow and catch fish. We're just gonna test the waters and see what it's like. But that being said, I'm back. Studio. Here we are. We're back. Next Monday, 7:30 Eastern, we're gonna have Jermaine, Mr. Mainstream Fishing, and he and I are gonna go into depth a little bit about a dinner that we had with a couple of friends of ours. And then I'm going to reach out to some other friends of ours and start bringing people back into the lives. But we're back. We're not going to be fishing for a little while, probably 5-6 weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get everything ready. I might have to go bank fish with Jeremy. I don't know. I got to be careful, but we're going to test it out. How did I get the hernia? Oh, boy. I'll tell the story real fast. Last June, we were cleaning yard up from where a tornado come through and knocked a bunch of stuff over. I was reaching up into the trees to cut down broken branches, and we were dragging them off. And the short story, long story of it is, I gave myself a hernia reaching up and then dragging stuff. Didn't know it until I went to bed that night, and I reached down and felt a lump and was like, "What the hell?" Went to the VA the next day, and they were scheduling me for hernia surgery, which kept me from going on a trip with the Kayak Adventure Series up in Minnesota that I might not have come back from because I had my heart attack that weekend. And if I was that far away from the hospitals, who knows what could have happened. So, yeah, who knew a tornado would lead to a hernia or lead to me not going on a trip that would have put me too far away from hospitals to probably be reached. But yeah, it was just hernias apparently run in my family. I think my dad had one when he was literally a week away from boot camp. And they repaired him. And that was back in 1967, 68. But yeah, it's just I was overextended, overreaching up over my head and opened those ports, and some of my abdomen went down through it. And I've literally been stuck with that. Literally been stuck with this condition since last June, and I can't get the surgery till this fall till they can take me off the blood thinners. Once they do that and then I get repaired, I can start kayak fishing again next year. But yeah, that's what's going to let me fish out of the boat. But that's what's going to have me fishing out of the boat again, gently, carefully. And I've got to see what my limitations are. I asked my doctor, well, what can't do? And she's like, basically until it hurts. And I'm like, really? Bart Simpson, bzz, ow, bzz, ow. That's my life. So she said, see what you can do. And then if you feel it, stop, I'm like, okay. So yeah, that kept me from getting into kayak because I can't be stuck in a place where I can't paddle, reach, twist, blah, blah, blah. But I've got a boat with the swivel seat. And like I said, I'll start out crappie and bluegill fishing and we'll take it from there. Am I going to catch a bass in 2027, 2026? I don't know. You notice I have goals, but I got to be careful. But, but that, I have to be careful. But that being said, we're going to start with some bluegill, some crappie. I have to get with my cousin and get some lessons. Sly Fox, let me know what some good crappie baits. But I'm probably just going to get some minnows and slip bobbers and take it easy and have fun that way. But we got to get the boat rigged up. I got a test I still got to study for because it's in 4 weeks. So my goal is to catch a fish of some sort, even if it's in the creek with my grandbabes again, by my birthday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, which falls on Taco Tuesday this year. Falls on what? VA appointment day. Oh, yes. I also have a VA appointment that day as well. So who knows? Thank you all. Thank you all for all of your support through all of this. I didn't know if I was going to come. Yeah, I did. My wife told me that I owed. We have a community. We have a family here. I'm a part of it. You're a part of it. We're all part of it. And thanks to you for keep me going. Keep me going. He's back. We're back. We're going to start doing our lives again. I got studying to do through the week, so I can't do too much. But yes, we're back. We're going to get back on the water at some point in time, one way or the other, even if I just have to sit on the bank with the grandbabes. We'll figure something out, but we'll start making content and we'll go from there. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. We'll let you guys get to watching Darren and Debo. It's been a long time since I've got to say this. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories. Even if it's just walking around the expo with your friends, meeting some people up, or just going and wetting a line, or even like I've been doing, walking around the yard, putting feet to grass. Till next time, get outside where you can and make some memories. One cast at a time. We'll see y'all next week.